that my rating increase. The claim decision, it looks like it might be fraud. The only thing that I see on va.gov is the 60% asthma and the 10% allergies and the 0% sinusitis. I mean, I've maintained all along that I'm being underrated. But how can they update the asthma from 20% to 60% 2 months after I was initially rated, and not change the service connection? You know, the overall percentage there. Service connection was 60%, 10%, 0%. And the combined service connection, or combined service rating, I'm sorry, is supposed to be 60. Because your combined service rating can't be less than your highest amount. It's just the way the system works. You can't be 70% one and 50% another, and then be overall 20%. No, the highest, it would be 70% that one would be the lowest you would go. But being as the other thing is 50%, it would probably be more like around 80 or 90, or it could be higher, depending on what it is. But generally, I would think that would probably be 100%. But it's possible it could be 80 or 90. But it would definitely not be 50 or 60. It would be 70 and above. But I think mine's fraud because there's no evidence there, no back pay. An effective day of September 3, and no back pay. According to VBA, my payment start date of October 1 means that I'll be paid October 30. They maintain there's no back pay. Like I said, I think I'm being screwed over by somebody who's really good at hacking. Or maybe the VA page that I'm logging into is a spoof. That's very possible. And, fake rating decisions to boot. Because again, the way that my claims have went, and now trying to say that they're paid in arrears and I won't get paid the date that it says is my payment start date. When my claim first started, that's exactly how it happened. It said I would be paid on such and such day. I was. And I got 2 deposits of back pay before that. Being spoofed or just being screwed over. But I just tell people, to stay away from Saginaw VA. And if you're going to deal with the VA around Michigan, because there's so many instigators and so many hackers, you don't know what you're doing sometimes. Because it's fake. It's a fake website. That username and password you use all the time when you try to, let's say go somewhere else to a library or out of state and you can't log in. Well, it's probably because you're being simulated. That's why you can't log in. So your life as you know it is a fraud. It's a mirage. And nobody would do anything about these hackers that do this kind of stuff. And they find all kinds of, clever little statutes that they can misinterpret or quote one line out of a 20-line statute. Oh, I can do this. They're just as bad as the people that make fake license plates, the sovereign citizens, or somebody that goes into somebody's home and saying, hey, this is not my property. I am occupying it. I am a squatter. I have squatter rights. These are the same kind of people. They're all the same. A kind of predators. I don't like predators of any kind. I don't know what to say, I doubt there's anybody else that has this kind of experience, but I'm so disliked at the VA. I'm not looking for sympathy from anybody at all. I'm not somebody that cares whether people have sympathy or not, but if somebody doesn't have empathy, then they need to step away from other human beings. If you don't have empathy, you need to try to get it back before you try to have serious relationships or interact with other people, or especially before you try to take power over another human being. You better get empathy back. Doesn't matter how you lost it, human trafficking. You were deployed and you saw half of your unit, they were lost and their lives just gone. And it was traumatic to your friends, your family, to see your friends go, to your other friends and their families. And it just weighed down on you, like, why the frickin' heck are we here? All these people that are gone now, that I used to drink a beer with, they're all gone. For what? And then we just pull out? I know a lot of people who have that attitude. I mean, I do too. And, or somebody, you're in a bad relationship and they used to beat the living heck out of you. And you still relive that in nightmares. Whatever happened to you to make you lose empathy. If you can't, you find it hard to sympathize with other people. Or I'll say empathize, correction there. Then you need to step back and find a way to get it back. But I don't believe that this would be happening to anybody else. I haven't encountered anybody with this kind of situation. And I'm so disliked at the Saginaw VA that nobody wants to help me. And they actually like to toy with me from that call center. I hate that place. Morley Group of Companies, I hate that place. That place has done nothing but ruin my life and people I've known. Taking up, so many different contracts. And then sometimes they have 2 or 3 contracts for call center with, let me see, for me, my bank, my credit card, my daughter's school before, what else? Our electric company, our hospital call center, our medical care call center, our health insurance, our life insurance call center. Oh, good God. Our internet service contract call center. That's all I can think of the top of my head. It feels like you're slammed into one of those, what is it, high focus, high intensity, what do they call them? High focus, high intensity groups, basically cult. Through social media they connect. And they're having a lot of problems with them in Australia about 10 years ago. So the government of Australia, in conferral with the Crown, decided to make them illegal. Groups such as that, especially ones that use social media, and that explains a lot of what's going on here. They do it to target people and bully people. Some people get bullied the hell out of. Some people get bullied the hell out of them, saying, oh, you got to get married. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do that. Or they bully the hell out of them, make them homeless, screw with their Social Security, their disability, their food stamps, get them fired. This kind of crap goes on, and nobody does a dang thing about it. And but in Australia, they did. I really give credit to the Australian government, in association with the Crown government, with with England being as they are, they still have some connection there, part of the Commonwealth. But they made those kind of groups illegal. And if they're found in Facebook, the people are actually arrested. Because they had people committing suicide. They had other people supporting suicide for people that couldn't live up, to the call. It became a real problem. People invading people's privacy, people putting cameras in their homes so other people could engage with them about what they're doing in their house. This is not normal behavior. I don't care what church or temple or mosque or synagogue or commune people belong at. This is not normal behavior. Even a Big Brother and all of that type stuff, when they're off the set, they're completely different people because it's not normal behavior. But anyway, so this is the kind of feeling that we have to deal with. It's kind of that kind of feeling, regular boundary crossing. And if you're disliked, nobody would do anything about it. And that's why I think that this VA claim I think it's fraud. And I'm trying to clean up the mess that I started now by giving the documents to people. Somebody at that call center said, "Oh, you should be happy you have a paper document. That's the most important thing, right? Sometimes the software will catch up later." No, that's fraud. The software doesn't catch up later. Everything is there or it's not. You don't have a VA claim without back pay, first of all. Even a supplemental, not when it's 2 months from your initial rating. To an auditor, they're going to say, "I believe this guy was underrated from the beginning. Only 2 months, and all of a sudden this, increase." Even with tests that 2 or 3 say this, 2 or 3 say that. To me, when I step back as an auditor, it says this guy's got some kind of a breathing problem that is, really chaotic, and which is why the rater and the examiner both agreed that the variable that best represented my breathing capacity was FEV1 over FVC, because it's what my lungs are putting out with what is there that's usable, which is not always the same because there's so many issues going on with my airway. Multiple pathologies are a problem here. And but anyway, it would appear that something there is fraud, because nothing's changed. No back pay, nothing. It still says 20%. And I get a different story from everybody. "Oh, everything will change October 1. Then other people, "Oh, everything will change November 1. I'm just being toyed with. And it's really important to note that every time I call, when I try to call 1-800-827-1000, I get the Morley call center. And some of those people, they live in the place where I live. And I'm not going to go into, depth where I live, but, it could be any place, around Saginaw County. But for safety, I don't say where I live. I say where I've lived. Now somebody, could try to find out about me, but that's kind of stalking there. So the minute that they cross a boundary, and they get around me, and I, get that gut feeling, I won't hesitate to confront them. And anybody knows me, they know that's true. I don't shy away. I have a family to protect. So if somebody wants to get, thuggy with me, or somebody wants to be like all, like country tough guy, or somebody wants to be like, yeah, I'm the gym maniac. Yeah, you better. I don't intimidate, and I hold my Second Amendment dear. It's not the first time that somebody's threatened my family or myself. It seems to become quite a pattern in 8 years, especially the past 3 weeks. 3 people try to cause us to have a fatal car accident. And it's not just crazy driving. This is people actually trying to do something so we get harmed in an accident. It hasn't been this bad since we came back to the U.S. in 2017, going over the bridge, the Zilwaukee Bridge. When I worked at the call center, probably about a dozen times, people tried to run us off the road on that bridge. Come up real close, like they're gonna ram me, or try to monkey in the middle of me with 2 vehicles. Yeah, one time was with my daughter, and my stepmother knew about that, and she found it funny. Someone who's not saved. She's not saved at all. I don't try to judge someone's salvation, but some people that are doing evil, you can tell they're not saved. Because one thing that you'll do when you hold your salvation dear, it doesn't matter how you present, what denomination, Catholic, Orthodox, Baptist, Lutheran, Methodist, Pentecostal, Apostolic. When you're truly saved and you've crossed over the line to allow him into your heart, and he's begun to change you, to shape you, desis, to form you into the way that we were originally made before we were cast out of the garden. You can't do evil. You are fundamentally unable to do evil. You may mess up. You may make mistakes. And sometimes your passions may lead you. Remember where Dante put the sins of passions. So you won't be perfect. But to purposely do evil, you're incapable of it. So, anyway, got off a tangent here. But the people have done great evil to us at that VA. So much. I had to drop out of grad school because of them. I'm getting sued. The identity theft aside, well, the identity theft seems to have happened while I was in their program. Probably because that homeless database they post to, it has no security. You can access it from any college campus across the country. I forgot the name of it. What is it? VIMS or I forget. But it's a comprehensive homeless database. And once you're in there for life. It's crazy. It should be shut down. Because like I said, you can access it from any college campus. Name, social security number, some of your previous addresses, your employment, if you're a veteran, your status, your service rating, the VA you're attached to, all kinds of stuff is just right there. I'm not sure if it's called VIMS, but I'm not sleeping well, so some stuff like that, deep intellectual vault stuff. Some of it's not there. But, that could be, I'm not saying I've never been a victim of identity theft before, but it's been so consistent more than once, probably at least 6 to 8 times in 8 years. Significant things people have done 6 to 8 times in 8 years. Could be because they put mine and my daughter, her information and my information in their database. them nothing but cause us suffering. And I think that this rating increase, I think it's fraud. You know, how can you have an effective date and a pay date that are almost 2 months apart, but have no back pay? When I used to do advancements in the Navy, there's always that kind of rating adjustment. There'll be when things are backdated, they get back pay. You know, when they're rated because it was, you know, maybe they got in trouble, or maybe things are delayed because they were deployed, and they were actually advanced on such and such date, but it wasn't executed until such and such date because they were deployed, or you know, there was no ship to shore, stuff like that. Um, so stuff couldn't be updated. They get back pay. That was one of my things that I did for Navy Region Hawaii. Multiple people. Sub and shore. The ships, they have their own systems, but sometimes we help the ships too. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about what, 50,000 sailors somewhere. I forget, 50 to 70,000 sailors, somewhere around there. And that was one of my jobs, especially the shore people. But that was the M63. Oh, bring back memories doing M63s. It's a Unix-based system. But after a while, you know, I got tired of that. I wanted to do force protection, so I did. But anyway, so I think this is fraud. There's no back pay. Absolutely nothing has changed. And this claim was published over 2 weeks ago. Yeah, things just don't add up. You know, we're dealing with the VA, and nobody can be that incompetent. And I'm tired of being cheated out of my back pay. Who's getting my back pay, you know? It's like, I feel like this is being set up like, oh yeah, it's been a couple of months now. Oh, all of a sudden we have to increase your rating, but there's no back pay. I feel like I'm being set up to lose my back pay. That's the way I feel. And now they're telling me that I'm increased to 60% combined service rating, but it's not active till November 1. Doesn't make any sense. It's not active till November 1, then I'll be paid for October, but my effective date is September 3rd. You know, what about that pay September 3rd through October 1? Where is it? I'm tired of people hurting my family. I want these people held accountable for what's happened to my family, especially my youngest daughter. I want people held accountable. I'm tired of nobody doing a dang thing.